क्या रचना, नया घर लेने का सोचा ना? और बजट का क्या? बट इज दिस द राइट टाइम टू बाय द हाउस या थोड़ा रुक के लोगी? और सुन, और डाउन पेमेंट का क्या? लोन अमाउंट का क्या? उसके रीपेमेंट का क्या? और जो घर तूने फाइनलाइज किया है वो प्रोजेक्ट रेरा में तो रजिस्टर्ड है ना? ओए बोल बोल जल्दी बोल। अरे डोंट वरी। व्हाट? You guys are also facing the same problem? Take this knowledge pill. Hey folks, CA Rachana Ranade here and I welcome you all to a very important video which is about factors that you should consider before buying your dream house. Well, to be honest, I had never thought about this specific video topic. It was you all who gave this amazing input during my video of when should you buy your first car. And then I thought this is a really wonderful topic. Let me take this right away. But wait, if you're first of all confused between whether you should rent a house or whether you should buy a house, this video is not for you. I've already made a separate video on whether you should rent or buy a house. Whenever time permits, please go through that video as well. And not only can you see the video, the link of this video is also there in the I button. Well, now that you have decided that yes, I'm going to buy a house, then start these questions as to what will be the budget of your house, loan, down payment and whatnot, all the questions that we discussed in the pre-bumper of the video. So here we are and let me give you that same knowledge pill and let's continue with the video. Let's start with the very first and most important question as to what should be the budget for your house. Is there any thumb rule for that or not? And answer is obviously yes. The thumb rule goes like 5, 20, 40. Now, what is this 5, 20, 40? Basically, it says that the cost of your house should not be more than 5 times of your annual income, right? Now, what is this 20? If you are taking a loan to buy a house, the loan tenure should not exceed 20 years. And last, what is 40? 40% of your total income should be the maximum EMI amount. Fair enough? So, I hope you have understood what is 5, 20 and 40. But wait. Now, you might be like, Rachana, if my income is, let us say, 10 lakhs. Now, you are saying 5 ka rule. So, 10 lakh into 5 will be 50 lakhs. In a city like Pune, where am I going to get a house, a decent enough house at 50 lakhs? So, in the case of this video, whenever I am going to talk about buying a house, the definition of income that I am taking is not your individual income, but I am taking that as a family income. Right? So, assume your package is 10 lakh and your husband's or your spouse's package is 10 lakh, then totality of the income, that is the family income, is 20 lakhs multiplied by 5. Now, the budget for your house will be 1 crores. I hope this point is absolutely clear. Now, let's move on to another important aspect. If you remember, I've talked about this rule many times, 50, 30, 20 rule. Okay. Now, if you remember, whatever income you earn, out of that 50% goes for needs, 30% goes for wants and 20% mandatory saving. Okay. Now, you might be like, Rachana, in the previous rule, when you said 40% will go to your EMI. Now, you can imagine in this 50% bucket, if I put 40% EMI, I will be left with only 10% to meet my daily needs. Now, could that lead to a problem? Yes. Mentally, basically, no one has stopped you to shift from here to here. But if you don't want to have that mental block as well, what can you do? Please understand. Buying a house, is that a need? Yes. Is that also a want? Yes. Is that also an investment? Yes. Well, even if you are buying that as a first house, you can say that it is an investment in your lifestyle. Why not? Right? So, if that be so, the 40% of your EMI can be divided like 20% as a need, 10% as a want, and 10% as your savings. I hope this entire point has given you enough clarity on how to budget for your first house. Well, before we move on, let me wish you all a very happy Independence Day. We are almost at the brink of celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav with Har Ghar Tiranga. Many of us did not get an opportunity to participate in the freedom of our country, but I still believe that many of us still can participate in achieving freedom. Which freedom? Financial freedom. And I believe that learning is the first step in achieving financial freedom. So, is Azadi Ke Amrit Mahotsav par, let's vow to learn, invest and prosper and Banaye Har Ghar investor. So, I am going to facilitate this by offering a flat 15% off on all my courses on my website www.rachanaranade.com. Offer ends on 15th August 2022. So whatever we have discussed till now, let me give you an amazing example so that the entire idea will be absolutely crystal clear. So let us take three cases of Mr. A, B and C. Now the family income on all these three cases is say 12 lakh, 18 lakh and 24 lakh. Let's take out the monthly income as well, dividing it by 12. These are the numbers for the monthly income. We are not going to need them right now, but let's keep them for the time being. Now, if you remember, I told you that what could be the exact cost of the house. It could be ideally 5 times of your income. So simple, 12 lakh multiplied by 5 is 60 lakhs. Same case with B and C, it will come to 90 lakhs and 1 crore 20 lakhs respectively. Now, if you were to go ahead and take a loan to buy this house, always remember a thumb rule, you will get maximum up to 80% of the cost of the house as a loan and balance 20% you will have to do a down payment. So, in case of Mr. A, the 60 lakhs will get split up as 20% and 80%, which will come to 12 lakh as a down payment and 48 lakhs for the loan amount. Same case, 20 and 80% will go for Mr. B and Mr. C. Now let's come to the EMI amount. EMI in our example I have taken at 7.5% fixed rate. Again, for your understanding, you must be aware of the fact that there are two rates in which we can get a home loan. One is known as a fixed rate, one is known as a floating rate. But if I take a floating rate, then the calculations can be like really complex. So for that, I have taken a fixed rate. One more important point is that I have taken the tenure of the loan as 20 years. Why? Remember the 5, 20 and 40 rule. Exactly for that I have taken it. So if you have a look at the chart, you can see that 7.5% for 20 years for Mr. A comes to 38,668. For B it comes to 58,003 and for C it comes to 77,337. Now if I calculate EMI as a percentage of monthly income, for A, I can say I'll calculate that as 38,668 divided by 1 lakh and that comes to around 39% of the monthly income. For B, it is exactly the same and same goes for C. All in all, I can say that in case of A or B or C, it is fitting into the 40% criteria. But then I'm sure you might again have a question that if this be so, is there any magic trick? Is there any amazing stat through which I can get a confidence that yes, I can repay this 20 years loan in a matter of 10 years? And for that, just have a look at this amazing stat. Now let's take the example of Mr. A whose loan amount was 48 lakhs. Now had he repaid the entire loan with the normal EMI amount, he would have been able to knock off his entire loan in just 20 years. But instead of that, had he gone ahead with another option wherein he would have increased the EMI by just 2%, he would have been able to repay the entire loan in 15.5 years. Let me give you another option. Had he gone ahead with a 5% extra EMI, then he would have been able to repay the entire amount in just 12.5 years. And now comes a magic option. If he had gone ahead with one extra EMI every year, he would have been able to repay the entire loan, ideally of 20 years, in just 10.5 years. But this one extra EMI every year, how does the math work for that? Now let's continue with the same example of Mr. A and let us say that his monthly EMI was, let us say, 10,000, right? So first, just to simplify the example, first I'll start with year 1. So tell me, if EMI was 10,000, how much was the total EMI that he paid in the year? 10,000 multiplied by 12. So his total EMI was 1,20,000. So total cash outflow is how much? 1,20,000. Now what are we going to do? In year 2, I will say that okay, anyways he's going to pay 1,20,000, but in addition to that, the previous year's cash flow divided by 12 means what? 1 month extra cash flow he has to pay this year. So previous year's cash flow was how much? 1,20,000 divided by 12. So that comes to 10,000. So this year A will be paying 1,30,000 as the total cash outflow, right? Now what will happen with year 3 now? Let us understand. See, year 3 base is now at 1,30,000. If he was able to pay 1,30,000 in year 2, why can't he pay 1,30,000 in year 3? Obviously. So now base of cash outflow is going to be 1,30,000 plus what? 1 month cash outflow of previous year. So it is going to be 1,30,000 divided by 12. सौरभ उत्तर काय?
10,833.
10,000 जोरात सांग की
10,833.
और जोर से ठीक है 10 10,833. So now the total will come to 1,40,833. I hope you are understanding. Mr. A, who had paid just 1,20,000 in year 1, paid 1,30,000 in year 2, is paying 1,40,833 in year 3. One last example. Chalo, let's see what happens in year 4. Year 4, what is the base now? New base is 1,40,833. 140,833 divided by 12. जोर से बोलो.
11,736.
क्या बात है? 11,736. And what will be the total amount now? 1,52,569. All right. So 1,52,569 will be the cash outflow for year 4. And in this way, I hope you have understood that how his cash outflow is going to go on increasing year after year. And by this magic math trick, he will be in a position to repay the entire loan in just 10.5 years. But now the big question is that at the end of 10th year, you can imagine to what amount this cash outflow might have gone to. And now you will challenge me that, Rachana, how on earth will that be 40% of the total income, right? That 5, 20 and 40, that 40% rule might not be met. But for that, I have a counter for you. Please understand that your monthly income or your yearly income is not going to remain constant over the period of 10 years. Whatever was your income in year 1 and whatever would be your income in year 10, there will be a big difference in that as well, right? So I hope you have understood this magic trick of repaying the loan in just half of the tenure. Now let's move on to the next question is, what could be the ideal time to buy your first house? Well, the simple answer to that is earlier the better. Now why? Because right now I told you that your repayment of loan, the tenure is ideally going to be somewhere around 20 years. In fact, there are certain cases where you can even repay the loan up to 30 years also. We have not discussed about that in this video. But even if I were to take 20 years as a time frame, you can imagine if a person were to take a loan at the age of 40, then what would be his working life? That is very limited for him. So his working life, end of the working life and loan repayment will almost coincide. In that case, banks might not be that keen to give loan to a person who is in his 40s. Vis-a-vis, if a person is in his 20s, then in that case, the working life of that person is quite large and banks would be much more happy and willing to give loan to such a person. Of course, other conditions like his credit score and all that will be checked by the bank, no doubt about that. Well, this in place, now the next big question is that how should you finance your house? So here you have two options. One is do a cash down and buy a house. Oh my God, there will be really very few people who will be able to do that. Majority of you will fall in the category of taking a loan and buying a house. Same had happened with me when I bought the house, right? Now, what is the biggest advantage if you buy the house with entire cash down? Whatever is the cost of the house will be your actual cash outflow, nothing extra. Biggest positive. What could be the negative side though? Whatever is your amount with you, that will be completely blocked, or major amount will be blocked in one single investment, that will be a real estate investment, and that is why the opportunity cost of these funds can be higher, right? Let's go ahead with the loan amount or the loan perspective. In that case, you'll have three major advantages. One is the tax angle, the second one is the legal angle, and the third one is from a personal finance perspective. What is the biggest positive from the tax angle? Number one, you get 2 lakh rupees per owner as a tax benefit for the interest amount, and number two, you get 1.5 lakh rupees per owner from the principal repayment perspective. Okay, so 2 tax benefits. If I'm talking about the legal point, biggest advantage if you take a loan, what? See, the bank is going to do a due diligence. Bank is going to see whether all the documents are in place, whether the title is clear, and then only they are going to give you a loan. So you are very much you are going to have a peace of mind when you are taking a loan to buy the house property. Now, if I'm talking about the personal finance angle, what is the benefit of taking a loan? First and foremost is that because you know that a huge chunk of your monthly income is going towards the EMI repayment, you will be automatically you'll be frugal while spending for other expenses. Number two important point is that if you are repaying your home loans on a regular basis, your CIBIL score will also automatically improve. And number three is that because your entire money is not being blocked in a single investment avenue, that is the reason why you will have some funds free to invest in other investment avenues. What is the biggest downside if you go ahead with a loan? the actual cost of your house will be way too higher because of the interest component of the loan amount. Let's move ahead with 4 additional important points that you must consider before you are buying a house property. Number 1 is that whenever you have finalized any house property and if that project is registered under RERA, I would highly recommend that you go and check out the website, and where you can see a lot of disclosures which are mandatory to be given by the builder. Now, I'll give you my personal example. I had almost finalized a house property and that builder had told me that we have a fantastic basketball court, this, that, all these amenities inside our society. When I checked on the RERA website, I found out that there's no basketball court which was in the scheme. After looking at all these disclosures, I decided that builder is not very true and honest, and that is the reason why I cancelled my decision and I decided to move into another house property. Number 2, one more very important point is that if you were to take a decision whether you want to go ahead with an under construction property or a ready to move in property, my personal suggestion would be you should go ahead with a ready to move in property. Why? Just in case if the builder is not able to complete the construction in time, in that case, you have to pay the EMIs. Plus, you are also paying the home rent also. So, it's a double cash outflow which is happening at your end, plus the tension of whether the property will be really completed or not. That is extra. So, again, to sum it up, my recommendation would be go ahead with a ready to move in house property. And last, and the third one is that you should ensure that you are having a proper home insurance when you are taking a decision to buy a real estate property. Well, is that all? No. One last and important point is that just have a look at this. Whenever you are buying any house, it is not only the basic cost of the house, but all these additional charges also which you have to bear. So keep all these costs in mind and then only take your final decision. Well, whatever we discussed till now, all were the quantitative factors. What about qualitative factors? So all the factors that you have to look at before you buy the house, the qualitative factors are something like this. Well, the very first one is emotional security. I mean, those who have been living in an owned house since your birth, you will not be able to understand with this point of emotional security. But any person who has stayed in a rented house and has had the pain to change the house after every 11 months can definitely agree to this point that finally apna ghar hota hai. So I think that is an emotional point which definitely gets added up. The second one is capital appreciation. If you are owning the house, then whatever is the case, on an average 6% capital appreciation is what we have seen. That's the CAGR of capital appreciation over the period of last few years. The third one is that finally, even if you are taking a house property with the help of a loan, the moment you are paying your EMI, as and how you go on repaying the loan, your equity, your ownership in the house goes on truly increasing. So even if it is taken on loan, finally you are building an additional asset for yourself. And last but not the least, if you are buying a house property, there is no landlord hassle. Otherwise, khira ikde thoku ka, hi frame ikde lauleli salel ka. You have to ask for all small things to the landlord and then only take a final decision. I hope with the help of this video, you are able to understand all the qualitative factors as well as quantitative factors once you decide to buy a house. But if you still want to know more about whether you should buy a house or rent a house, you can click here. And if you want to know more about stocks which are available at great discount, you can click here. Till then, take care, Jai Hind and bye-bye.